WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, often tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. I think this might actually fall in that category. GlenAllachie, Speyside Single Malt Scotch Whiskey, Billy Walker's 50th anniversary, future edition, 4 years old. The first peated distillation. Bottled August 2022. No color added. Cask strength, non-chilled filtered. 60.2% ABV. 10,000 bottles were actually then released, which is actually more than enough, I would think. But no, the market over here in Europe has gone crazy. Whiskybase number 217345. This actually should be 80 pounds. Which translates into roughly 99 euros. So that's a little bit higher than the 80 pounds, but who cares? It's still okay. But then the shops over here in Germany read peated GlenAllachie, Billy Walker, and decided to double the price. So we have people selling it for 170, 190, 200 plus. I have one person actually online here who is offering it for 700 euros. A 4-year-old single malt Scotch whiskey, 700 euros, 450, 450, 320, 279, and. Those are crazy prices, people. All right, we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the whiskey. Now, this 80 pounds, 90 euros is what it should have been. It's 99, but that's okay. Now, this is actually to commemorate, to celebrate, to actually remind us that Billy Walker has been in the industry now for 50 years. So I'm barely older than 50, so he's been doing this job for 50 some years. Burn Stewart, Ben Riach, GlenAllachie, Glendronach, Glenglassaugh, and now GlenAllachie. So 60.2% ABV. Wow, cask strength, not bad. So what do we have here? First of all, my first question was, where did the peated malt come from? And I really had to dig. That was not information I found anywhere in the bottle, anywhere here. But in the official press release, they talk about made with mainland peat from St. Fergus. So, all right, Google Maps, where is St. Fergus? Okay, I've been to Elgin. Talmental is over here. There's this little corner up there, and there's a bog land, some peat land. Good, no problem. Great, now I know where it comes from. Then I started asking the question, where do they get the malt from? And there's an interview online by GlenAllachie with one of the guys I actually know there at the distillery, Mike Duncan. Every once in a while he's in Germany. I actually met him when I was at the distillery in the spring of 2019. They were so excited. They said this was, I think that was the second time that they actually had this just distilled peated whiskey. And so they were like, oh, this is great. And he mentioned the fact that they actually get their malted barley from 2 different sources. I don't know if it's one for peated malted or one for not or whatever. Who knows? But that would be great information there. Now, what we do have is the information here about the casks. We do know that it says here that it was matured in ex-bourbon and ex-rye casks with some virgin oak. Now, what I would love to have seen is first fill. It says matured in former rye and bourbon barrels as well as some virgin oak casks. Now, what is a virgin oak cask? That's still something I don't understand, all right? I know I can build a cask out of wood. Is it virgin oak? Yes. But I could take that same cask and I could toast it. Is it still virgin oak? Yes. I could take that same cask, instead of toasting, I could actually char it, set it on fire, up to an alligator char, even more. Is it still a virgin oak? Yes. Could I toast it and char it? Yes. That affects the quality of the wood and the quality of whiskey in a very, very definite way, in my opinion. So just telling me it's virgin oak is not enough. At least not for me, and my curious minds want to know. All right, very, very good. So this this mainland peat, it is the Highlands, actually gives a smoky yet sweet flavor profile. and they let it actually ferment for over 160 hours, which is a long time. So we have 1 day 24, 2 days 48, 3 days 96, 4 days, wow, 5 days, wow, almost 6 days, 160 hours, yeah? 1 week is 168 hours, so minus the 8 hours, wow. All right, so almost an entire week. Fantastic what they're doing there. All right, so that's great. That gives it a little bit of that ester-rich, fruity spirit that they need to actually make a 4-year-old whiskey taste good. Now, I have compared it to Talisker 10. So I have a little bit left in my glass here. Now, the Talisker 10 is saltier and more citrus moment. The Ardbeg 10. The Ardbeg 10 is much earthier, darker, almost like a hydrocarbon moment, a petroleum moment. There's some oily, dark moments going on here. Now, to be very honest, I'm not a big fan of either of these, and yet this is something that I think is nice. It's a earthy moment. I know a lady, she used to use like African earth and she put on her cheeks and it gave a nice little brown tone. And it's almost like a dried clay moment. There is some fruitiness going on here and there's a little bit of an old smokehouse. This is nice for a peated whiskey. Now the whole time I'm just sniffing and enjoying the aroma. And it's like, oh yeah, I forgot, 60.2%. There is no alcohol burn. They are doing a fantastic job at GlenAllachie, making great whiskey there. This is the first whiskey I've tried from GlenAllachie that has been made by Billy Walker. They reduced their production by 80%. Before Billy Walker bought the distillery, it was actually just a workhorse, and they were producing single malt for blends. Now everything they produce is not for blends, but actually for the single malt that they have to bottle and sell themselves. Now just producing for yourself instead of for other brands and so on, selling out onto the market is a big difference for the company. And now they have peated. Now, my personal opinion is if GlenAllachie can release the next bottling, now this is special. This is the first, as it says here, first peated distillation. This is a collector item. I don't understand collecting with whiskey, but hey, that's something else. I just understand buying and selling and drinking and enjoying and reviewing and assessing, but that whole collecting of first editions of something just eludes me. It's like, why do I want it on my shelf? There's so many of them. All right, so, but if they can actually have the next bottling or the next 2-3 bottling, let's say we have something in a full maturation sherry, a full maturation port, a full maturation in Mitsunada, a full maturation in red wine, a full maturation in stout, and full maturation in this, that, or anything else. It would be cool, wouldn't it? And then we actually have a price, maybe just 48%, non-chilled filtered, no color added, from 60 euros, 65 euros. That is something that people in Germany, at least, especially if it's peated, would be interested in. Should the price be 48? Yes. Will the price now, due to inflation, be 58, 60? Yes. So in these types of prices are something we're going to have to probably get used to at least now. So sorry. All right, so, but this, as I said, 99 euros what I paid. People are asking for up to 700 euros for it. But 150 to 180 is the typical price now. Way too high. Way too high. 10,000 bottles. Cheers. What I can't pick out is the rye. What I can't pick out, maybe I can't pick out the virgin oak because there's a lot of astringency going on here. On the sucking all the water out of my mouth. There's a little bit of a little bit of a tart, almost bitter moment going on there as well. And there's an earthiness here. There's that earthiness of the peat. It's a sweet peat, but it's earthiness. Now, I don't get the cinnamon apples until I do this. Put a little bit of water in here, smell it. It does change a little bit, and ta-da, I get a cinnamon apple. So if you read some tasting notes in the back of a bottle or in back of a box or online and you don't get it, add some water and maybe that will change that little bit to actually give it to you. So it says here, this ambered hue spirit offers up a distinctively smoky yet sweet flavor profile, bursting with sweet cinnamon apples alongside smoldering oak. Now, I am not the peat head. I do not really, I would never reach for a Talisker 10. Port Ree, maybe. Talisker 18, before the prices went up, maybe. Ottbeck, never. I'm just not a peat head, all right? So I've been to Islay, I've tried different peated whiskeys, just not my cup of tea. This is also something I would never reach for in the evening. Oh, I need a sweet peated moment. But I do know a lot of people that would really, really, really like this moment here. This is a very well-made whiskey. I think the 160 hours of fermentation time gives it that fruitiness that wouldn't otherwise be there. I think the choice of the casks, even though I love rye, I'm not a big fan of using the rye casks for a single malt scotch, but here it seems to work. Well done there. That rye, bourbon, and virgin oak mix really did something nice here. And I'm going to give this, in the viewpoint of someone who liked peated whiskey, this is a C+. If you can get your hands on it, try it. I think you like it. There's no youthfulness. There's nothing in here that screams 4 years of age. There's no new makey moment. It's not bright. It's not spirit forward. It's actually well done. And the 60.2%, fabulous, fabulous for cask strength. And so well done there. Now, value for money. Disregarding the fact that it's a first edition, for the flavor profile, 99 euros. From my point of view, it's a C minus. 150, it's a D. 700, it's an F. No whiskey is ever worth 700. Sorry, nothing, never, ever. All right, so this is something that I can recommend if you can get it for the recommended retail price of £80. This is very, very interesting, and I'm looking forward to further releases from GlenAllachie Peated, and especially I would love to try, I had their new make when I was there at the Distillery 2019, but I'd love to try their own whiskey that Billy Walker made themselves with that long fermentation time and so on, and I hope soon, and very soon, there'll be. By the way, there was a past release that was actually here, going up here to read here, the past. So the past was here, wow, it's not on my press release where I want it to be. So, yes, okay, the past was a 16-year-old 100% sherry matured single malt, released in May, and the present edition is a 16-year-old Mitsunada virgin oak finish, announced in July. So now we have the future edition. Very, very good. Thank you for watching. My question of the day, very easy. What is your favorite release ever from Billy Walker? Could be BenRiach, GlenDronach, Glenglassaugh, or GlenAllachie, whatever you want. Just write down your favorite Billy Walker release. Thank you very much. Share and tell others. Bye-bye.